And welcome guys to the weekly headliner update, week number 83. Now, if you're new to the weekly headliner, this is where we discuss what is upcoming this week in Marvel Strike Force, and then we recap the important topics from the previous week as well. Now, we got a few things to talk about here. Hopefully this is going to be a condensed version of the weekly headliner update. We'll see what happens. But we got the Alliance War changes, some really important things here that are coming to Marvel Strike Force, some that are already in the game. The question that I'm asking, or I think a lot of us are asking, is Alliance War a lot more important now? Do we need to focus on that? We'll go through that here in this video. We also we did see some information on the Hulk Hunter event, which is going to be the month-long event here for Abomination. The first milestone, which is going to start on Wednesday, the Stark R&D milestone here. We're going to go through some quick numbers on that to make sure that you can be successful as you go towards here trying to complete that month-long event. And of course, Pestilence. For some reason, Pestilence is back, not the Rogue Famine Scourge event, but the Pestilence Scourge event. We're going to go through some brief details here just as a reminder. What do you need for a recommended gear tier, things like that. We'll go through that in this video. And then Red Hulk's kit looks bananas in war, looks really good as a character. We're going to go through that really quickly, talk about these new battlefield effects and so much more, guys, on the weekly headliner update. And we're going to start right now. All right, y'all, welcome back. Like I said, we got a decent amount of stuff to talk about here on the weekly headliner update. The first thing I actually wanted to dive into is talking about these Alliance War changes. So the biggest thing are the Alliance War season rewards that we're going to be getting. So the Alliance, match rewards that we're going to be getting, and then also the Alliance season rewards that we're going to be getting as well. So the question really is this enough to move the needle? Are we really going to start caring a little bit more about war? We'll go through that here in this video to answer that question. But there were some other changes that were made as well in regards to Alliance War. So there's room changes that were made. There are some character kit updates that were also made as well. So I'll give you I guess I'll go through like a quick TLDR on that, because just in case you missed the blog on Saturday. So they're making some room changes to 3 rooms: Medbay, Barracks, and then also Bridge. So if you're looking at Medbay here, the changes that were made were this. So previously, before, was 40% max health to all defending allies. They've now changed it to where it's 20% max health for all defending allies. So dropping that from 40% then down to 20%. Then in Barracks, they're moving this down from 20% to the primary stats to all defending allies now to 10%, and they're keeping the extra 10% here for military allies. And then for Bridge, they're making some changes to where they're keeping the death proof, the minor deflect, and the regeneration, but they're removing the stealth and the immunity and replacing that with defense up and offense up. So for me personally, very happy with that, because prior to listen, there's some matchups that completely go awry because of that stealth and that immunity. So definitely happy that they are making those changes. They also, like I said, they made some character updates as well. So A-Force is a little bit better now. They made some kit changes to where CM, Captain Marvel, is now able to crit with her ultimate ability. She's also given boosted max health by 10%, and then also boosted damage by 10% as well to her A-Force counterparts. Mordo now has the Dark Hunter tag. Also some kit updates for him as well. Some early testing with Mordo is leading me to believe that Dark Hunters can now be a reliable counter against Young Avengers. Some early testing has shown so far that they actually do pretty well against Young Avengers. Maybe I'll make a video about it a little bit later on. Elsa can now clear death proof with her ultimate, which definitely is a big deal, especially going up against Heroes for Hire, because now with her ultimate, if she does kill an enemy Heroes for Hire, they will not revive. So therefore, clearing that death proof is actually pretty important. And then Namor, my man Namor, got a stat boost here as well. So Namor got a stat boost. It's like 16% max health increase here. Damage is 43% increase, which is pretty big. Focus 25%, and then resistance at 40%. Unfortunately, right now in game, all the other changes you can see in game with respect to I think the season rewards for Alliance War, but the kit changes have been made for all the other characters, but Namor, his stat boost is not taking effect in game yet, so I'm not quite sure what's happening there, but we'll have to take a look at that later. But let's talk about the big thing, right? The updated rewards for Alliance War. So they made a mention of it here. So the changes that they're making is that they're upgrading the spoils of war and match rewards to season rewards. So War, Victory, and Defeat will now have more gold, along with new rewards for green ions, for the T2 level 1 ISO Blue 8 ions, and the T2 L4 ISO Blue 8 ions. So this one is actually the big one now, right? Because we're all going to need these ions, these T2 level 4 ions for our legendary horsemen, teams, in order for us to be able to get Apocalypse. So that was the big one that was added. Also, War, Victory will reward even more than before. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. Season rank rewards will see an increase in T4 ability materials, along with the additional orange basic. So they're adding orange basic catalyst, teal basic catalyst, and then to accommodate, they mentioned here the above updates, the ABC parts and the T4 ability materials will be moved from the Victory and Defeat matchups. Now, the T4 ability materials is a little bit of a concern because we don't know exactly how they're going to allocate that shift in the season rewards. Like, how much are they increasing the season rewards for T4 ability materials? If it's not a net gain or at least the same, players are probably going to feel some type of way about that, just based on the fact that a lot of players definitely did depend on those T4 ability materials for those individual match rewards. But if you log into the game right now and take a look at your league info and rewards, so you can see the season rewards aren't there yet. They're not showing what those new ones look like, but you can see what the match rewards are going to look like. So as you can see here, the increase in the gold for your win, you're increasing gold here for your loss, which is pretty significant. I would say definitely for the win, for sure, there's a significant boost there. It's like, what, close to 200K. And then you can see, of course, here as well, your ISO Blue level 1 ions and then your ISO Blue level 4 ions, which are really big. Now, I did some quick math on this. Now I'm in Plat 3, which I'm barely in Plat 3, right? If anyone cares, but most players, I think, are in Plat 2, right? So if you're looking at Plat 2, and let's say that you go 2-1 every week in War, which is not always true. You really probably go like, you usually go what, 3-3 in a season or something like that, right? So if we're looking at it from that perspective, if let's say that you get 2 wins, you go 2-1 in a week here. So you multiply that by 2, then you add this one for your loss. That's 21K. Let's say that you do that for the duration of, for all 4 weeks, for all of your Alliance War matchups. That's 364,000 that you're getting every single month. So essentially, you need 2 months to where you can actually upgrade one character to ISO Blue level 4. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the deal, right? Is it enough to incentivize me to care about War? Probably not fully, but I kind of don't really have a choice now, do I? Right? Because if you haven't seen this already, they've also removed Victory Blueprint from the month-long event. If you look at the Hulk Hunter event, the Abomination month-long event here for September, they've removed Victory Blueprint as a milestone. So therefore, the additional way that I would be able to get other LD ions for this, that's gone too. So if they had teamed this up with the Alliance War changes and then also gave us Victory Blueprint, man, we would have been Gucci. We would have been fine, all set, right? But the way that they're doing this right now, I have to wait 2 months in order for me to get enough rewards for me to actually bring up one character. That's a lot, because you need a legendary horseman. The 4 characters are part of that legendary horseman team. We know about 4. We know that there's going to be 4 of them, right? And then of course there's the additional characters. So that's 20 characters plus it could be 40 characters, right, that we're going to need to bring up to ISO level 4. They have to find some other way to get us some of these level 4 ions, because otherwise this, in my opinion, is definitely not it. Happy we're getting it, but man, we definitely would have liked to have had a little bit more where that is concerned. So those are my thoughts here on this really quickly. What are your thoughts, guys? Curious to know. Do you think this is enough? Hey, do you think that I'm asking for too much? You think I'm greedy? You let me know, guys, what your thoughts are. But speaking of month-long event, wanted to talk about the Hulk Hunter event here, right? So we got information. Red Hulk, we'll talk about Red Hulk a little bit later on, but we got information here on the Hulk Hunter event. So if you don't know as of yet, the Hulk Hunter event is going to be the next month-long event here. That's going to be the event that where we're going to be able to get our our Abomination shards for the month. So they listed out here, we're going to have 4 main milestones, the 4 quick rumble, the 2 alliance milestones as well. We'll talk about the individual milestones a little bit later on. The one that's going to be starting this week here is going to be the Stark R&D milestone. That's going to be on August 31st. That's going to be going through September 5th here. So that's going to start on Wednesday. And then they gave us this leaderboard. They showed us the leaderboard or showed us the milestones listed out here for Hulk Hunter and the Abomination event. And the biggest change, which I talked about in a previous video, based on the data mines here, is that they're moving now away from us being able to get shards in the milestone, and now we're going to be getting, instead, replacing that with an actual orb. So this is going to be a Gamma Goliath orb, which is going to reward us with Abomination shards. I don't like this. I did some quick math and tally on this so far. If you're able to get through all 40 milestones here, you're going to get a total of 21 orbs. Now, if you remember, right, if you're able to get to milestone 39, you were able to at least get a 4-star character for that character that's in that month-long event. Right now, you got to get to milestone 40 in order to be able to get all 21 orbs. If I'm doing some quick math on this here, 180 shards is what I need, right, in order to be able to get a 4-star character. If I divide that by 21, the 21 orbs that I can get from this milestone, I would need to average 8.57 shards per orb in order to be able to get 180 shards. And that's not even guaranteed. We don't know what the drop rates are going to be. We don't know what the numbers are there. We have no idea what this is going to look like. And I'm not even guaranteed to be able to get the 21 orbs, right? Because milestone 40 is where I have 4 of these orbs. If I only get to milestone 39, which has happened multiple times to a lot of players throughout the past events here, that we're not able to get that last milestone, that means I'm only going to get 17 orbs, boo-boo. And if I only get 17 orbs, 180 shards, 17 orbs, that means I have to average 10.58 shards per orb. Now, they did say that we potentially could get 100 shards from one of these orbs, right? There's a chance to get 100 shards. I don't know, man. I'm not like uber confident that we're going to be able to do that. My question is this, like, why the change, right? I don't know if they felt that free-to-play players were getting too many shards, and that, I don't know, maybe the numbers will work out. Maybe I'm overreacted. Maybe the numbers will work out, and maybe there's more on the plus side because you could get 4 stars and more for these characters. I don't know, guys. I'm just not overly confident. It doesn't look like a net win to me right now. It looks like a net loss in my personal opinion. But let's jump over to Stark R&D. So that's going to be the first milestone that we're going to be going through here. That's going to start on August 31st. So this is going to be a milestone so this is kind of weird to me. So it's the importance towards this 1-day milestone that takes place 6 times in succession, 6 days total. By unleashing your roster in Blitz, you're going to be blitzing, and then you're also going to be spending gold. You'll earn more points towards using Bionic Avengers, and even more points if your Bionic Avengers are G13 or higher. They listed out the rewards here. The biggest one to pay attention to is the Imperfect Serum. That Imperfect Serum is what is the item that gives you the boosted points, right, towards the Hulk Hunter event. So you're definitely going to want to be able to grab that. Now, they gave us the milestone board here, and this is very confusing, right? Because if you get to milestone 29 here, which is 8 million points that you need in order to be able to do so, it's saying here that you're going to be able to get the Imperfect Serum. But I'm like super confused. The reason why I'm super confused is, how does this, if this is a 1-day milestone, how does this work, right? And if you're looking at the points and the scoring down here, if you spend gold, that gives you that's 1 point per gold. If you do a blitz win and sim, you get 50,000 points, and you can see here that you get these massively boosted points here by just using Bionic Avengers. So I know hey, I got G15 Bionic Avengers. I'm going to be getting some decent points here for this team. But I did some quick math, and I'm like, 4 rotations a day with 30 wins per rotation, 50,000 points per blitz win. That's going to give me 6 million points. And then 2 million gold per day is going to give me an additional 2 million points. That's about what I usually spend. That's 8 million gold. That's milestone 29. Am I going to be able to hit milestone 29 every day? This is very confusing right now. So we're going to have to look at what exactly this looks like in game. I don't know how they're doing this. Also worth mentioning too, they did mention that during this event, the High Roller milestone will be integrated into the milestone. So head over to the Stark R&D milestone. So they're going to be smushing both of the milestones together, so that when you're spending your gold, you're getting points towards a Stark R&D milestone. It's just all going to be in one place. So whatever rewards that you would get for High Roller are also going to be a part of this as well. I don't know. I'm confused. Let me know if you're confused. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Y'all just let me know. With that, I'm just reading what I'm seeing and trying to make sense of it, right? But another thing I wanted to talk about here is that the Pestilence Scourge event is going to be coming back. So this is going to be starting again on September 1st. So that's going to be on Thursday at their new time, which is going to be 2 p.m. Pacific time here. I'm happy this is coming back. I'm also confused that this is coming back because I thought Famine Scourge would come back first before Pestilence Scourge, but I'm happy I'm going to be able to get a 7 stars on Morgan Le Fay, I guess. But yeah, I definitely thought Rogue would be first. Maybe next patch, whatever the patch is. I thought the patch potentially might be this week. Maybe it's next week. We'll have to see where that goes. Maybe that's the reason why they're sneaking in Pestilence right now, so that the next patch they can bring in Famine Scourge. I'm assuming that that's probably potentially what could be happening here, but wanted to go back over recommendations. So I have players ask me this question a lot, like, hey, for Morgan Le Fay, Pestilence Scourge, like, if I'm doing difficulty 5, I'm doing difficulty 6, like, what's your recommendation for your gear tier level? So looking at this here, I brought this old blog post from March, which detailed out the difficulties detailed out the recommendations for gear tier for each difficulty that was there. So if you're doing difficulty 1, the recommendation is gear tier 7 for your characters. Difficulty 2, gear tier 9. Difficulty 3, gear tier 10. Difficulty 4, gear tier 11. Difficulty 5, gear tier 13, 6, 15, 7, 16, 8, and you can see what the numbers go up to there. So if you're someone that's going to be in the difficulty 4 to difficulty 5 range, gear tier 11 for difficulty 4 seems to be fine. Difficulty 5, G13. I think gear tier 12, you might also be able to get through it with that as well. Potentially I could be wrong, but I think a lot of players are able to get through it with gear tier 12, depending on where your stars are. Maybe you might need gear tier 14. For reference though, right? Like, I'm able to do difficulty 8. Their recommendation is gear tier 17, and I'm able to do difficulty 8 with G15 characters, and then gear tier 16 characters. So sometimes the recommendations are not necessarily like spot on, but just kind of gives you an idea as to what potentially or how high you may need to build up your characters. And to be fair, difficulty 8 is challenging with gear tier 15 characters. It just takes me going in and resetting a lot of times, right? For your node 5 and your node 10. So for difficulties 5 and above, for node 5 and node 10, keep in mind you need your web warriors or your dark hunters. Dark Hunters to get a little bit of a boost here. Keeping in mind that Mordo is now part of the Dark Hunter team, so you can also use him on that team now for this new Pestilence, for this recurring Pestilence Scourge event. For characters that you need, Scarlet Spider is in the war store, you can farm him there. Ghost Spider, she's in the arena store for 975 credits. Spider Punk, I guess he's in the arena orb, like, I guess that's super RNG. And then Dr. Voodoo is going to be going to Mystic Node 1-6. So keep it in mind if you're looking to farm them. The event usually, I think this is whenever it recurs, it's usually 5 days. So you have a little bit of time here to start trying to build out some of these characters or maybe farm some of them. Dr. Voodoo, I don't think is actually in Mystic Node 1-6 yet, but will be coming sometime soon here. But that's pretty much it on Pestilence Scourge. Last thing I wanted to talk about here, guys, is Red Hulk and just how crazy Red Hulk is. So we got this information here in this blog. Red Hulk is going to be a part of the War Scourge team. He's going to be a part of the War Scourge team here. He's going to be a legendary horseman for that team. Some new things that they're introducing is this battlefield effects, right? So they mentioned here battlefield effects are a new ability mechanic being introduced with Red Hulk. They're applied to a specific side of the battlefield, enemy side, or the player side. The last until the end of the match. Each side can only have one active battlefield effect. So most likely, although Red Hulk is getting this battlefield effect in this kit, most likely they're going to be introducing this for other characters in the future. So they wanted to make sure that we had an understanding of what battlefield effects are. Now, Red Hulk's gamma radiation battlefield effect is applied to the enemy side of the battle and causes enemies to be attacked and gain 3 bleed on their turn. So it kind of looks like each battlefield effect here is going to be different based on the individual character that it is. That's basically kind of how I'm reading it right now. But Going through Red Hole's kit here, it's absolutely bananas and insane. With this passive ability, forgive me, some of you guys have already read this already, but unspawn, if charge, he clears charge. Unspawn, if Hulk is an ally, he'll gain safeguard, he'll gain immunity. Unturn, he'll sell for 20% of this character's max health. At the end of any turn, when this character has 5 or more charges, he's going to gain 7 ability energy. And the reason why that's important is because his ultimate ability starts off at 0 out of 8. So whenever he hits those 5 charges, he's getting that 7 ability energy. So that's a pretty big deal to pay attention to. And then he'll also fill this character's speed bar by 50%. Keep in mind that this can only be triggered once per matchup. When an enemy attacks this character, he'll also gain 1 charge up to a maximum of 5. He'll gain focus 50% and then give Gamma allies 60% focus. For each charge, he will also gain speed up, a block, 20% block chance and 20% chance to also counter attack as well. And then in war, it gets insane. Unspawn, fill the speed bar by 10% plus 10 per Gamma ally. If this character has 3 or more Gamma allies, when an enemy attacks this character, get an additional 1 charge up to a maximum of 5. When an enemy attacks Gamma, he also gains additional charges. So that was one of my concern, is how exactly is he gaining these additional charges outside of war? And it kind of seems like his charges are really kind of mostly geared towards being in Alliance war, which is kind of disappointing because that ultimate ability is just crazy to think about here. But let's skip some of the rest of the stuff. This is also worth mentioning, the Gamma, he gains 50% Gamma damage reduction. Gamma allies also gain 50% Gamma reduction as well. So that's something that's going to be very important in Alliance war. The 50% Gamma reduction, from my understanding, the way that I think the devs had mentioned this, is more of making sure, so it's their inherent defense up, right? So 50% negation whenever someone has defense up. This is sort of like their inherent defense up. I'm saying that word wrong, good God. And that's the reason why down here, defense up and minor defense up cannot be applied to self or Gamma allies. That essentially is to kind of prevent from anybody being able to flip defense up on them or flip, right? So you kind of don't get that turned into a negative effect. But ultimate ability here is just bananas. Meteor crash, 0 out of 8, but we talked about the reason why that is. Attack all enemies for 450% damage. Flip all positive effects into negative effects, which is just stupid. Apply trauma for 2 turns and heal block for 2 turns to all enemies. Gain 500% extra focus for this attack. This attack ignores defense up and cannot be blocked or dodged. Clear all battlefield effects on the enemy side and apply the battlefield effect Gamma radiation to the enemy side. And then this is where it gets crazy, right? Gamma radiation on enemy turn, attack that enemy for 250% piercing damage. Apply 3 bleeds. Wow. Attacks from this battlefield effect are unavoidable, and then this battlefield effect lasts until cleared or the end of the matchup. And that's just really stupid, right? Special ability pavement pummel, clear barrier on the primary target, attack for 350, apply offense down for 2 turns and reduce the speed bar by 10%. Clear revive once on the primary target. Remember, Hulk himself also clears revive once as well with one of his abilities. Repeat this 1 additional time, so you're getting the additional damage and then the reduction of speed bar here. In war, he's doing this 2 additional times. Basic ability here, fiery fist, attack the primary target and then flip a positive effect. Repeat once in war. Outside of war, repeat once, and then in war, repeat twice. And then this right here, when this character performs a counterattack or assist and has 5 more charge, that counterattack or assist gains 100% damage and then flips 1 additional positive effect to a negative effect. So this is really, really insane, his kid. I think he's going to be a really powerful character. I will say I'm not quite sure, though, how his ultimate is going to work outside of being in Alliance war. It seems like the way that he's really gaining these charges is by being in Alliance war and by enemies attacking Hulk and other Gamma allies in order for him to be able to gain this charge. So I don't know if he's going to be like that useful outside of war. From what I'm seeing right now, I may have to reread the kit again and kind of digest it a little bit. But right now he looks really insane and looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, that's the reason why them incentivizing war was probably a big deal, right? To make sure that players would want to build out this character and then ultimately want to use them. So those are my thoughts, guys. Some quick stuff here on the weekly Headliner update. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in regards to all this stuff here. Is this enough to move the needle for you when it comes to Alliance war? How do you feel about this new Hulk Hunter event, this month-long event here where we're going to be getting orbs instead of actually getting character shards? I'm not overly excited about it, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm not overly excited about it at all. However, let's give our feedback here. Let's see if we can spark and make some changes, and then we can sort of kind of go from there. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.